My name is Bill Lee. I'm the CEO of Knightscope. We're developing technology to predict and prevent crime. Uh, IBM and Palantir had some interesting work over the last several years where they're taking a lot of historical data, either 10-month-old, 10-year-old, or 10-hour-old data, and been able to predict that something may occur in a certain environment. And in 2 cities, been able to prove that you can cut crime by 5, 10, 15% using historical data only. But that to me is like driving, looking in the rearview mirror, trying to figure out if the road is going to veer left or right. Not having a real-time assessment of what is happening in the environment at that point in time is critical. Also having a physical presence is also important, which we'll cover. So our long-term, we want to be able to predict and prevent crime. Short-term milestone is to do advanced anomaly detection. Just to put this in the scope, just in the U.S., if you add up all the murders, prisons, lawyers, ambulances, and everything else, it's about $1 trillion negative economic impact that we all pay as citizens here in the States. A violent crime occurs every 26 seconds, a property crime every 3.5 seconds. If you add up all 200 countries around the globe, collectively all of our societies spend about $500 billion a year on security, about $300 billion addressable by what we intend to do or aspire to do. Just in the U.S., you're looking at 1 million private security guards. Globally, it's a very fragmented industry in terms of private security. G4S and Securitas have about plus or minus $10 billion in sales and hold single-digit market share. That shows you how fragmented the marketplace here. And just in the U.S. is about 8,000 private security firms. Very little innovation in this space other than maybe a taser, a bulletproof vest, and a camera. That's all that's happened over the last 100 years. Underinvested, not a normal investment thesis for a fund to disrupt this space. But what if we could develop technology to literally cut crime in half? How valuable would that be to not only the shareholders but to society? If you can affect housing prices, the volatility of a financial market, the quality of life, the viability of someone's business, the safety of your family, that is actually a big deal. So our solution is threefold. One is to have a physical presence. So if I put a marked law enforcement vehicle in front of your home or your office, criminal behavior changes. Most criminals, 90% of them, aren't all that bright, and they're looking for the path of least resistance. Second, gather as much data as you can from the environment and then provide a state-of-the-art human-machine interface. So our first product, the K5, it's 5 foot tall, 3 foot wide, 300 pounds. It's really easy to do a demo. It's really easy to build a prototype. You want these things running outdoors 24/7 in the rain with people, cats, dogs, trucks, and vehicles and all sorts of shenanigans going on. That's a whole other level of engineering. Fortunately, for the last year, we have been running in that manner. The machine grabs a massive amount of data, about 90 terabytes per machine per annum. We use that to monitor, for obvious monitoring and surveillance, and then also to influence our navigation stack, meaning where the machine goes. Because we operate less than 25 miles an hour on private roads, we have no regulatory issues that we need to deal with in order to commercialize this autonomous, or as you might know it, self-driving technology. So we can do that this year as opposed to next decade. The machine generates a 360-degree HD live stream and recorded video. We can run 300 license plates a minute against a database and tell you if a vehicle is stolen, that plate is tied to a felon, or that license plate is not viable. We can do audio event detection, so the opposite of voice recognition. So people who work on voice recognition want to drown out all that noise in the background. All that stuff is actually very interesting to us. I heard glass breaking in that direction. I heard a car start in that direction. I heard cell phones going off in that direction. For data centers, we can do rogue router detection. So we had 79 routers this morning. Now we have 80. How did that happen? We can also run a thermal scan to take a look at temperatures of pipes or detect a fire. And basically, this is really smart eyes and ears for the private security guards and law enforcement officers to do their jobs more effectively and have the machines do the monotonous and computationally heavy work that no human could possibly ever do, and then let the humans do the decision making and figure out how to operate. Again, these machines run 24/7. They autonomously recharge, and so we can operate in the field. Fourth quarter, we'll release a smaller version for indoor usage. This will be 4 foot tall, 2 foot wide. And again, this will seamlessly integrate into our Knightscope Security Operations Center, which is a browser-based user interface we provide our clients for them to be able to interface with the machines and also take certain actions. So for example, God forbid there was a live shooter situation, you could speak through a machine or through all 50 machines as if it was a mobile PA system. Or you can establish a two-way intercom call. You can do all kinds of analytics and forensics here. And then the security guards get a mobile version of this, so they can actually, let's say you're at a 3 million square foot distribution facility. There are two guards and there's a few machines, and you can't get all the way across to figure out why door 72 is open. You can actually get a live feed from the machine right off of your mobile handheld. So an off-duty law enforcement officer is about $90 per hour if you want him or her armed to sit outside your doorstep. A private security guard, or a mall cop as you probably know him, or her, is $25 an hour. We put these machines out at $6.25 per hour, which is a massive cost reduction for a lot of our clients that spend over $100 million a year on security guards. So where you're going to see these, you're going to start seeing these pop up all over the place. If you're local, you can go to Stanford Shopping Center. One of our clients there, Simon Property Group, is the largest mall developer in the world. If you're down in San Diego, you can go visit the Qualcomm campus, obviously one of the top 4 semiconductor companies in the world. There's a shot there. It's a kid magnet, so we've got all sorts of kid detection devices on that machine. And then the Qualcomm employees really took a liking to this, and so they gave the machines, they had a naming contest, so I guess one's RQ-D2 and the other one's QGuard, and actually issued them employee identification cards. So they're roaming around down there. And then we just signed a massive deal with Securitas. They do $10 billion of sales globally in private security, $1 billion alone in California. So this is one of our channel partners for them to be able to basically resell the technology into their existing clientele. So we've raised about $14 million to date. We're just wrapping up our Series B, $8 million of it closed, just looking for another $2 million. The cap table is all strategics and all angels, all evergreen, balance sheet driven, long-term money, because we want to make sure that we've got an opportunity to actually build a $30 billion a year company, and we don't want any kind of weird things happening along the path. So we're going to recruit some additional people, put about 100 or 200 machines in network here in California, and then put the K3 into production. I'm an ex-Ford Motor Company executive, so I'm pretty comfortable with large-scale hardware outdoors. And my team my co-founder is an ex-law enforcement officer. My head of business development ran a $250 million book of business here in California for Securitas. Head of designs, ex-Ford Motor Company, and my head of software engineering, she's ex-Deloitte. To date, we've had 6,500 people apply to come work at Knightscope. I get 100 resumes a day, and it's, I think, because not only the mission of what we're trying to accomplish is also just the technical challenge. The technology, this is not an app. The technology stack is very complicated to be able to actually do this live. And that is our story, and thank you for taking the time.